I'm the head operation of Touchpoint, and then I came for this course at Simon Page Business School, and I will say that the experience has been wow. One, because it's very interactive, which is what you don't get around Nigeria. It's not anywhere well that I know. It might be, but I'm not saying. And because it's very interactive, you get to do exactly what you learn. So, and right there immediately. So it makes it fun. It makes it memorable and applicable also. So I think personally that is good, and I would recommend it for anybody that wants to thrive, I want to do well, I want to do any better or good marketing plan around.
As far as the course is concerned, I think it's quite interesting. Like I say, it's interesting, insightful, and intensive. And what the highlight basically for the course is the fact that it's not a group of just a mixed group of different knowledge levels. So we have different professionals from different industry, and the fact that we can cross-reference our experiences and use that to bring up new ideas is what I love best. I also like the credibility and the proficiency of the tutor itself. That has helped to moderate ourselves. We tend to have a lot of arguments but then he tends to bring out insights from all the arguments that we bring up, and then it helps everybody in their organization. I think it's a course that is worth it for anybody that is going to be working in this kind of departments, the marketing department, business development department. One other good thing about the course is that it's not just about writing a marketing plan, it's about practically applying the contents of a marketing plan so that you can build a plan that will work. There are many marketing plans, but can you build a plan that will work? I think that's a major highlight of the course, and I think it lived to its name, developing practical marketing plans.
Why should one come and do this course? It's essential, it's key. Most of the people out there that think they know how to do marketing plans do not know how to do marketing plans. There is an assumption and a procedure that they believe works out. But today, for the past 2 days rather, I've enjoyed myself. I've had broader insights on what to do when I'm asked to do or draw up a marketing plan. And for me, what was key was the situation analysis, because actually that is the 4 point. That is the first focus point when you're actually drawing up your marketing plan. For us as a business, it's going to be impactful. For me as a person, it definitely is useful. And I would advise that a lot of people come to Simon Page, just like me.
Reflection to me is a very important part of student learning. In a way, I perceive reflection to be a timeout, where students detach themselves from the whole obsession, and kind of understandably, they're concerned about marks, getting a high distinction or distinction or something of that sort. But in my view, the reflection is really a tool to detach oneself from that thinking pattern and really think about what did we really learn. So put it all in perspective. Think about this particular assignment in context to the overall unit, the actual course, and maybe also in context of the overall degree that they're doing. So it's really a tool to detach themselves from the whole grades and marks and so on world and really think about the learning itself. How do we actually incorporate reflection in the course? I'm doing so at the undergraduate level and also at the postgraduate level. I'm doing so at Macquarie University, of course, where I teach, but I also teach as a visiting professor in Denmark, and I'm also doing a reflection exercise in Europe. I also teach in Hong Kong for Macquarie, and I do the same, and possibly I will teach in South Korea in the Asian region as well. So reflection seems to be relevant to different cultures. People in Australia, Australian students so to speak, seem to be getting a benefit from reflection, but also students that are international, of an Asian background, North American background, European background, seem to be equally benefiting from reflection. So how do we provide guidance? I collaborate with Dr. Marina Harvey in the Teaching and Learning Center, and we together have designed a fairly structured form where students can use when they do their reflection. So I'm going to talk about this in a moment, but we got a very clear structure and check items, if you will, that students can really use as a guiding principle which items to reflect on. In addition, Marina Harvey comes to my class and talks a tiny bit about the theoretical background of reflection to all my undergraduate and postgraduate students. I myself also introduce my own experience a tiny bit. Time is always the issue, but I talk about my own experience on reflection to my students, and that seems to also have a bit of a motivational effect. So the model that Marina Harvey and I have designed requires students to reflect on 4 areas of learning. The first one would be marketing itself. So my courses are always on marketing and branding. So the question for students specifically would be, what have I learned about marketing and branding? So it's a reflection on the actual factual learning, if you will. The second component, the second point that we ask students to reflect on is research. Because my courses are research driven, undergraduate and postgraduate levels. So we want students to reflect on the learning in terms of research. For a lot of the undergraduates, research is still a bit of a novelty. It's a learning experience, and that also is what we find when we look at their reflections. So it's a learning experience, and so it should be. It's not always easy, and we can read that when we look at their comments in those feedback forms, let's put it this way. We also ask them to reflect on teamwork. So they have to work in teams, very common at any Western university, probably teams of 4, 5, 6 students, because the class size is relatively big. So we're facing big teams as well, and students do comment on that issue, positively or negatively. But in any case, we ask students to reflect on teamwork as well. So it's not just about marketing or branding, it's really about the bigger picture of the whole experience, let's put it this way. And last but not least, we ask students to reflect on improvement. So based on the experience, what should or could be done better next time? And that seems to be a very interesting thought for students that they haven't usually really thought through in such great detail.
Is your business making the most from social media? Small and medium-sized businesses from across Lancashire have been discovering how they can get some fantastic results from using Facebook, Twitter and LinkedIn very effectively. And it's all thanks to the free business support programme provided by Superfast Lancashire. The business support programme includes some masterclasses run by industry experts. This workshop shows businesses how integrating social media activities really is a piece of cake.
Today we've been going through our 10-minute social media workout. Basically, the activities that we do as a business, you know, like on a daily basis to get, you know, investment of time.
Yeah, and the checklist is based really on the theory of knowing what your goals and objectives are. It's knowing your audience, knowing the kind of words they use, the keywords, the conversational words, and it's knowing where they spend their time. And the kind of content to deliver. Is it going to be pictures? Is it updates? Is it links? Is it articles? And all these things distill down, form a checklist. Because it's easy to get lost in social media or spend a lot of time there. So having a simple checklist. So on a Monday, I do these 3 things on Facebook, these 2 things on Twitter, and do this update on LinkedIn.
Yeah, it's simple stuff, isn't it? So it's stuff like, you know, pop on your Facebook page and interact with another business as your business, or request a recommendation on LinkedIn, or check a saved search on Twitter. They're not huge, you know, sort of time-hungry actions. They're little bite-sized things, but that can have a real big impact. I'm completely confident that the businesses, the SMEs that have been here today are getting something from these sessions, not just because of the instant feedback that we get. You know, we've had a couple of penny drop moments, haven't we? Yeah. Certainly with Twitter, where, you know, we've kind of explained this is how you find your audience, you know, when you're there. You know, so we've had those moments, but there's a lot of scribbling, you know, and the stuff that we've been relaying is not stuff that, you know, people are going to find difficult to reinterpret when they get back. it's simple little things, isn't it? You know, so it's easy for them to action.
These sessions are proving incredibly useful and popular among Lancashire's small and medium-sized businesses. Superfast Lancashire is bringing high-speed fibre broadband to 97% of Lancashire. That's roughly 675,000 homes and businesses. If you'd like to join the free business support programme and give your business a real boost, visit superfastlancashire.com and go to the business support section.
So what time is it now? We're about 2 hours behind and everybody's hungry. This is just the greatest time to present to people, isn't it? Yeah. I love it. Following a finance guy and hungry people. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about the 8 essentials to a killer go-to-market strategy. I met with, I think, around 6 startups at the break. And I shared this, I'm not afraid to share this feedback that I gave them. I had no idea what their businesses were after spending 10 minutes with them a lot of the time, because I think a lot of times startups, this is a big challenge to explain what you do. If you can't do it in 10 minutes, then we're in big trouble. So we're going to talk about that today. So ShiftHub was a company that I invested in and I was a co-founder in. And when I got there, my job was to drive revenue. We had $500,000 in the bank, and I did all the things that I thought I was supposed to do. I got a fancy CRM, spent money on AdWords, we went to trade shows, we hired some salespeople, we got a fancy SaaS-looking website. And fast forward, 1 year later, we had zero money in the bank, and we had sales of a whopping $2,000 a month. So needless to say, that was a bit of a challenge. So what went wrong? That's what I'm going to cover that today, and I'll go over that. I think that, oh, I'm going the wrong way here. There's these 8 essentials of a go-to-market strategy, okay? You've got focus, and you've got value proposition. That's where I'm going to spend my time today. I think that a lot of startups get focus. They try to be too many things to too many people. And that goes into the value proposition of the message is very confusing because they're trying to message too many people. So when you have things like, we all know that the website is your #1 sales tool. People make a decision within 1 to 3 seconds of landing on your page, whether they're going to bounce, whether they're going to hang out, whether they're going to go to another page. But guess what that goes back to? If you haven't figured out who you're focusing on, and you haven't figured out what your value proposition is, and that it's a value proposition that people can actually understand, it doesn't matter how good of a website and how good it looks. You've got to segment your buyers and your customers. You can't message and talk to every segment the same way. You've got to create personas for your buyers. But again, it doesn't matter if you haven't figured out what your value proposition is. And most importantly, that it's a value proposition that people understand. Advertising, promotion, and events is obviously an essential part of a go-to-market strategy. AdWords might be really important to you. Search retargeting might be